Hey everyone, so this video is going to serve two purposes. First, this is meant to be an update on the food prep game that I've been working on, so let's do that first. Basically, recently I completed a major overhaul of the code. The reason for doing that, as I've mentioned in my other videos, is that sometimes when you're making your game, you're putting code in place that is not optimized. It's basically a proof of concept just to demonstrate the functionality and see if it even works, seeing if it's something that's even doable. And then once you've done that, you might actually have to uproot a whole bunch of that code because you may find that it doesn't scale. That's what I found is that although it worked, adding new meals, adding new customers, adding new ingredients was very cumbersome. It was the worst of spaghetti code where spaghetti went from one plate to another, to another, to another, back to the first. And no, I'm not trying to make a pun because it is a food prep game. It was just really it was unnecessarily complex code handing off variables and values from one script to another. So I did a consolidation of the code, consolidated a lot of that fragmented functionality into primarily just one coroutine, and now I'm at the point where I can just buy assets and add them with ease. Which brings us to the second part of this video, and that is this, the Stylized Fantasy Human NPC Pack by Enhanced Studio. I don't want to relitigate the past. Let's just say I bought another pack from them a few months ago and I found that it was unnecessarily cumbersome and really didn't do what it should do in a very simple manner. If you want to go watch that video, certainly your choice. Like I said, I don't want to relitigate it, but that gets us to the title of this video, and that is, as frustrated as I was with that other package when I saw this one, I took a chance and said, will this actually work? And to my surprise, it actually does work. So that's one of the challenges when you're dealing with publishers. You might actually find one package that is really good and another that's really bad, kind of like any other company, any other creator, that you're going to have hits or misses. And I'm here to tell you that for the most part, this is good. I really don't do reviews per se. I tend to do just an overview as far as how it functions, and then you can decide for yourself. So let's do that. So let's close this and let's go to the Enhanced folder. And in here, you can see there's mobile and PC versions, and then it's just the different characters. So we've got Granny, and I just want to point out that they all have animations. So if you click on Animator, you can see there are a ton of animations and it's very easy to utilize them. For instance, my game, when I have the characters spawn, when I have them instantiate, I automatically want them walking. So what I'll usually do is I will take the walk forward. I just right click and I choose that as set layer default state. As you can see, the line went from idle to here. And then using C# code, I'll then, when they arrive at the counter, I then have it go to idle. So I don't actually link it here. I just call this animation through C# code. And then these are, for the most part, just palette swaps. As you can see, really not any different polygons or models. It's really just coloring. Okay, so let's now back up one, and let's see what else we have in here. So here's the priest. And again, it's pretty much just color palette swapping. So the game, I'll probably use this as an NPC, whereas the priest will be one of the classes that you unlock. Here we have is sorcerer, and again, primarily palette swap. Honestly, I would have done something a little bit different. Like for instance, this one is green with a red crystal. I'd probably kept it as green and green because maybe they're an earth mage or a wind mage. I'd have saved the red for this one. She's wearing red, so I'd have put that red so they're like a fire mage, that kind of thing. But that's completely subjective, just my opinion. And we'll just go through a couple more of these. So the granny, priest, sorcerer, villager. She is now the first customer you get if you've watched the videos for the For the food prep game, up to this point, it was like a anthropomorphic lizard who would come up and make the first order. That lizard has now been promoted to a boss, and so now we have someone who kind of looks like just general NPC. I will call it one thing. As you can see, some of this is kind of old school. So like the ribbon, the lace, whatever you want to call it, is really just a texture. It's not a separate model. Same thing as you can see for like the apron in the front. So it's not meant to be high polygon. That they definitely have some old school elements to them. And again, your decision as to whether or not you feel that is sufficient for your project. So it's villager, and then another villager. Like I'll probably repurpose her as a fire mage. And by the way, you can indeed take the weapon from one and put it on the other. It's its own polygon. So, or I keep saying polygon, its own model. So let's just slide this over. See, that's right there. I could just drag and drop it and turn it into its own asset, its own prefab, and then attach it to the other character in her hand. And one more note about that, because very often items like that won't have their own animation. They're basically just moving in line with something else, whether it's the hand or the forearm, whatever. So you just have to make sure you link it to the right part. And then we have, so that was a villager. I think we looked at her. And then we have a blacksmith. I will probably actually utilize this guy as a paladin. Paladins typically have like large hammers or mallets, so I'll probably use him as a paladin because I really don't have a purpose for a blacksmith in my game. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else in this package. Let's go to the scene. My guess is this is gonna just have everyone in it. Yeah, so here we go. Probably nothing to necessarily see. Let's see if when we run it, it animates. Yep, they're cycling through the animation, so you can see walk. These over here look like they are not animated at all. I know there's an idle animation, so they might have just like a simple idle animation, but that's what you get. So I just wanted to let you know that this does indeed work as intended, and despite the issues I had with one of the other packages, for the most part, this does seem pretty solid, and certainly decide for yourself if it's something that would work for you. So I look forward to adding these to my food prep game. I hope that this video has been helpful to you, and do please enjoy the rest of your day.